Welcome back to From the Shed End, 150th episode of the podcast. I'm joined by Darmish, co-host. How you doing?
Yes, bro. Big up, big up. Glad to be back on the channel again, man. Yeah, not doing too bad, man. Life is all right, but when it comes to Chelsea, bro, that's when unfortunately life ain't great, man.
We're suffering.
But yeah, man, doing well otherwise. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. As you know, I've been here and there. City,
Yeah,
Goodison, so just busy. But apart from that, I'm good. I'm back. Obviously, talking Chelsea. Took me a while to get over that defeat, which we're going to talk about at the weekend against Brighton FA Cup. It took me a while. I'm going to be honest. It was a defeat that I didn't see coming, but we move, we go on, whatever. If you're new here, as always, please make sure you subscribe. Please make sure you like the videos. We are close to the milestone, the 500 subscriber milestone that I asked us to get to before the next game. We're two away from that. Hopefully, we can get it in this live stream that we're doing now. If you're joining us live on the live stream, if not, then please make sure you subscribe, like videos, leave your thoughts and comments as well. Linktree link is in the description for social accounts and all of that stuff. But let's go back to last Saturday, a defeat to Brighton, exiting the FA Cup, something that we have a lot of heritage and history within previous seasons. But what was your thoughts losing in the way that we did also, but just the fact that we now are 7 years without a domestic trophy at Chelsea?
yeah. I mean, it was a difficult watch last Saturday. Actually, thankfully, I didn't go to the game, man.
Yeah.
Amex is one of the stadiums where I'm not like it's not. I'm not dying to go there in a way, but I find it quite surprising actually because considering how we sort of went out in the Carabao Cup earlier in the season, I thought maybe Maresca will probably drill it into the players that we need to get a domestic trophy
Mm.
in us this season. And at the start of the season, I'm pretty sure most fans wanted the Conference League as well as a domestic trophy
Yeah.
alongside, and that would be classed as a good season. So considering that we've now gone out of the FA Cup again, yeah, questions need to be asked about the mentality of the players as well as even the manager as well, and I
Mm.
guess even Clear Lake and the sporting directors of what they really want from Chelsea and how they want to direct the club um, since the ownership and how they see the club faring out to be in the next sort of 2 3 years.
Mm.
So yeah, I'm gutted that we've gone out to this with you, man, because I'll always take these trophies. Obviously, I wouldn't celebrate them like massively as I would like if we won a Premier League or Champions League, but it's still good to keep that sort of winning mentality within the team and get through those difficult moments where you think you're not going to win a trophy, but then all of a sudden you get one, you win a major honor, and all of a sudden that breeds sort of confidence and um, just instills a winning mentality within the club, and that's something that we've missed massively for the past 7 8 years, where we've got like domestic trophyless basically. Reached countless finals, or bar it the two core finals that we reached, the two of them. I thought on the face of it, I think that was um, down to luck really, because that came to 50-50 split within the penalty shootout, and it was literally went right to the end. It was going to go either way. Saying that though, we should have taken our chances in those games. Looking back at them, um,
Exactly.
and I guess it's a similar theme to the Brighton game where we did create two or three chances, but I think we all know as Chelsea fans that our front line isn't as clinical as we think it is. Like on paper, these are good players and they're good just before they come to goal, but then when it is the time to sort of like finish the chance off, we can't always rely on that. And I mean, even the goal that we got on Saturday, I mean, it was fortunate. We took the 1-0 lead. Okay, cool. Like let's at least set into the game, play our rhythm. Maybe Brighton will play into our hands, but then um, it's just that 1-0 cycle again where we go a goal up and we just don't know what to do. Happened against Fulham, happened against Bournemouth as well, and it's happened countless times this season. Crystal Palace as well,
Yeah.
and it's a common theme now where we sort of let our foot off the gas when we go 1-0 up, and obviously we got away with it against Wolves. We end up winning the game, but it's still another scenario where we've let a goal lead slip and we just completely cave in and lose our heads. And yeah, it's not good enough if I'm being honest as well. Because I did want to really want to win a trophy this year.
Mm.
Um,
Would you take
as
the
fans, we
Carabao Cup?
expected.
Not the Carabao Cup, the Conference League. Obviously, that's something that we're almost. I'd like to say 80%. at the moment that we should go on to win that. But would you take that and a top four finish this season as a relatively good season in terms of
I'd
Chelsea?
say, I'd say it's an okay season if we get Conference League and Champions League football. If you were to add a domestic trophy on top of that, I'd
Yeah,
say it's been a good or great season. Because we've seen the level of the Conference League.
yeah, it's
It's
not.
literally it's worse than the Carabao Cup or the FA Cup.
Yeah,
And God Almighty, we go out in that cup. Can you imagine what would happen if we went out in that? But honestly, mate, we're playing with fire at the moment because
yeah,
it's literally Conference League or bust for our season. That's it.
mm,
Like we should be going into these Conference League games wanting to put everything into it now because that's the only thing we've got to play for. And obviously, we've got the league to still focus on. We're still in like right in the top four race, but we can't let this Conference League thing slip, man, because
yeah,
it's a great chance to just win a trophy, just win something. And I keep going back to mentality, try and instill some of the mentality that we had
mm,
back in the Drogba, Hazard, Costa, Lampard days, where
yeah,
um, winning it was literally if you don't win, you're booted out the club
yeah,
basically, and that's the sort of mentality that we sort of need to bring back. I know obviously we've gone for a different approach for the manager and stuff. The manager has a lot to answer for, um, especially the last sort of 2 months or so. We're seeing a lot of frailties in him because similar to sort of last season with Leicester City in the Championship. So
yeah. They dropped off.
yeah, we do have to win the Conference League.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think I was more disappointed with the Brighton defeat just because of the manner in which we just didn't show anything. Even when it was 1-0, you would assume, and you just said this before, but you would assume that you go on to get that second goal. But it just never felt like that second goal was ever going to come. Even when you look at the players that are out there, um, it just doesn't look like they're gonna. Oh, he's gone. We've lost our co-host, but I'm gonna carry on as we do. He's back. Yeah, it just doesn't look like we were ever gonna. Doesn't look like we just lost you for a minute there, but yeah, it
Yeah,
just
yeah,
doesn't look like we were ever gonna sort of win that game. I felt a bit sorry for Nkunku, and the reason I felt sorry for him is because I feel like even today Maresca's come out and said that he's not a number nine. He's not a number nine. Well, why are we playing him as a number nine? Why not change something tactically? Maresca has to start thinking. I love a 4-2-3-1. I do. And I think if you can play that way, you've got the right players to do that. Then do that. But there's got to be times where you think to yourself, right? I haven't got a striker now. I haven't got a certain prep. You've got to think of a plan B. And I just don't see a plan B with Maresca. I always see the same. Teams must rub their hands when they see, oh, we've got Chelsea this weekend. 4-2-3-1. You can probably almost name the squad at the moment. So there's nothing for the other team to think about that they have to worry about. And the thing with Brighton is we know that they like to play five at the back or they play with the three centre backs and not have their two wing backs pushing higher up the pitch. So that was always going to be a problem for us. Defensively, we're poor. So I think there's things like that I have to look at Maresca and think, right, where's the plan B? What are we doing now? Plan A is not working. Let's change something. That doesn't happen enough in games. And like you said, that's cost us points in the league and also now the exit out of the cup. But I'm more concerned that you just don't see anything going forward. It doesn't matter who we play in those front three roles currently at the moment, as it is tactically how we set up. It doesn't matter if it's Nkunku, Jackson, Mark Gu, Neto, Sancho, Madweki. Everyone just doesn't look like they're willing to do the jobs that they're meant to be doing on that pitch. But I want to ask you about Cole Palmer because I spoke about him on a separate video yesterday, and I know his goals and his assists are brilliant still this season. In fact, they're on course to be better than they were last season. Um, but I feel that like take the stats away for a minute and let's just watch the game with our eyeballs. I feel like he goes missing in times, and I feel like defenders have now cottoned on that if you mark him out the game, you make it difficult. You don't give him time on the ball to turn and run, run towards defenders. Then he doesn't really have anything else that he can offer in the game. Now I know people are going to say that obviously the goal came from a deflection from his cross into the box, but do you feel like Cole Palmer is either not being utilized in the right way by Maresca, or do you just think he needs a rest because he has played a lot of football for us over the last 12 to 18 months?
I'd say it's a mix of both, to be honest with you, because I think teams are when they look at our starting 11, they think, oh, is Palmer playing or not? And automatically they assume or they try and set up according to how they're going to stop Palmer. Because if we stop Palmer, you stop sort of us from playing, really,
Yeah.
because apart from him, we don't have any creative outlets out there that will sort of take the game by the scruff of the neck and create something out of nothing. And Palmer's the only player that can really do that. So I think it's a bit of both where teams are clocked on. Palmer does need to do somewhat better as well in some of these games as well. We saw against the. I keep going back to the Wolves game, but even the Wolves game, we saw how deep he was playing. He was literally playing almost next to Caicedo in midfield at one point. Yeah, which is just mad. It was
Man,
baffling
man,
how deep
mad,
he had to drop,
mad.
but you still dictated the game from there. But yeah, but it's I keep going back to him, man. It's Cole Palmer at the end of the day. Like, if anyone's going to do it for us, it's going to be him, and it looks like we're going to be relying on him. I think for us to get Champions League football for next season, I reckon, and I think it's looking that way where he has to have a miraculous second half to the season like he did last season. So it'll be very interesting to see how we sort of progress with him. Like, we know he's not going to be dropped, and why would we want to drop him anyway? Because um, who's going to put up a good performance in that position? Who's going to play in the position? People were arguing Kunku, but then who would you put up top then with Jackson and Gu being out? So
Yeah.
it's a really difficult one. Potentially, he could play on the right, um, and then maybe shift Madueke on the bench or Neto on the bench. But
See,
then
I'm a big fan
you
of
take
that.
away,
I'm a big fan of that. I'll be honest. I think him on the right is more. I think you get more out of him on the right, and then that could even. I mean, not now because obviously Jackson and Guru are injured, but that would have freed up the 10 role for Nkunku, which I think is probably a
yeah,
bit more suitable in that role. And if you remember back to last season, I know I mentioned this on one of the videos that we did on the channel, but if you go back to last season, majority of the games that Cole Palmer was playing with from the right hand side. Now, I know he likes to
mm,
creep into that, into the center of the pitch, into that 10 role whilst he's got the ball, but I think he can still just be as creative. And I think when Maresca talks in his press conferences about he doesn't like his fullbacks to overlap, to make those forward runs as much as we used to see, and he likes to invert into the and make it things a bit more narrow. But then that leaves a lot of opportunities on the right hand side for someone like Cole Palmer to make something work. I just don't understand why he doesn't do that.
yeah. Even I don't either because yeah, like you said, like most of his good performance came off the right last season, but obviously we were set up a bit differently, so I think it suited obviously having an overlapping Gusto or Reece James whenever he played, and then even at times when Disasi was playing, he was obviously overlapping, given that sort of
Yeah,
decoy run. But we've seen in Maresca's system, like Palm on the right is probably not going to work because he'll get the ball on the right hand side, but then nobody will overlap him. Like Gusto doesn't overlap; he's always inverted, and it's just going to be Palmer against whoever the fullback is, and maybe a winger. So he's left isolated 1v2. So
but he's
I,
got the
I
quality. No, I think he's got the quality to
he
beat
does have the
most.
quality, but I don't think he can sort of beat two players, if that makes
I
sense. He
think
could
he
probably
can,
beat
man. He's
one,
got
but I
he's
just don't think he's
quality.
got
He's
the
quality. I think
he's quality. But in terms of pace, I mean, I don't think he can get away from them, if that makes sense. I don't think he's got that pace that say like Neto and Madueke, where you just know they're
yeah.
sort of natural wingers in a way. You know that they'll try
But
and
they've
beat
got
a
no
man
end
or two and get
product,
across
dude.
into the box.
I just think with both of those, they've got no like, maybe not Neto actually, but Madweki, 100%. Like he just doesn't feel like when he's got the ball. I know he's either going to sky it into the Rose said, or the ball's going to go way beyond the goal and it's going to go out for a throw on another side of the pitch. I just don't. I'm never confident when he's got the ball. Never
Yeah, because
confident.
I think it's the way he sort of takes the ball and dribbles as well. It's a bit unorthodox as well.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, and he always seems like clumsy when he's dribbling and stuff. Um, so yeah, it's a bit of a difficult one with Palmer on the right. I think if Maresca utilised our fullbacks more, then I'd be more open to the having Palmer on the right again. But I just think you're wasting his talent by playing on the right and then
not
freeing
having any
someone like
overlaps.
Nkunku up.
Yeah.
Nah,
Well,
nah, I don't think so personally. But
we're going to get into that though, because I want to talk about our predicted lineups and I want to know what you think,
yeah,
but we'll save that one. Um,
yeah, okay,
I want to ask you a question about the fans. There's been a lot of talk last sort of
mm,
14 days, 2 weeks about a lot of things with Todd Bowley, Vivid Seats that we mentioned on here in the last episode and a couple of videos that we've done now. I don't know if you know, but he's obviously the board of directors of Vivid Seats and all the rest of it. So, a lot of, and I think we have to, when we're Chelsea fans, we get a defeat. And I get it because I'm one of those fans. I'm one of those fans that I want us to win every single game. I don't think any Chelsea fan doesn't want that. But
Mm.
are we, as Chelsea fans, overreacting? The fact that we are fourth in the Premier League, we are still on course to get a trophy, whether it's a Conference League that we wanted or whatever else. But that's what we've got left to play for. We are still in contention to qualify as it stands. As of tonight, that we are still in contention to qualify for the Champions League next season. So, is it more of fans just I don't want to call fans spoiled, although I do think there's a proportion of the fans that are like that. But is it just that we're so used to winning, the winners mentality, that we're just not used to this sort of mediocre? We just want more for the sake of it. What do you think it is? Is it just overreactions from fans, or do fans need to be patient with Maresca, allow him the time? Is it worth sacking him? I think after the Brighton game there was Maresca out trending online and all the rest of it, which I think is a bit crazy. But what's
Yeah.
your thoughts on all of that? Is it just fans being overreactive?
See, I think I'm in two minds with this because um, it all depends on what your expectations are at the start of the season
Mm,
and how you view the club at the moment. And obviously, what we're all used to is obviously Chelsea winning trophies and winning games, which obviously you mentioned as well, which obviously we all want. But that's not going to happen. Not even with the best teams ever. They don't win every single game. Like we saw Man City go out the Carabao Cup as well this season. They're not perfect. They're not obviously
Nearly went
amazing.
out the FA Cup as well. They were very
Nearly,
lucky
nearly
to
as
go
well. Then
through.
they could be out the Champions League soon as well.
Yeah,
So, um, but I think I just think sacking Maresca, like it's even baffling to even like to be thinking of this considering the start we've had. But
exactly.
sacking Maresca, it's not gonna change anything. I think the real issue is with the sporting directors in Clear Lake. That's where the root of the issue is, and if you just keep changing managers, it's going to be the same for every manager that comes in.
Yeah.
And like you said, we're sat here 13th of February, sat in fourth in the league right now. If you would have asked me that last season,
Mm.
um,
You take
I would
it.
have been yeah, you would take it, you would take it, and obviously the downside is going out to both of the cups as well. But obviously the bigger picture is obviously going out the cups, as I said, the Carabao and the FA Cup, which obviously fans aren't happy about, which I'm not happy about at all.
Mm.
And I've praised Maresca so far, but for the past 2 months, he's got to hold smoke, man.
Yeah,
That's
he
just the way I
has.
see it at the moment. He has to.
Mm.
Um, but considering the start of the season, he had like it gave him so much praise, but now, um, his inexperience is clearly showing now. Where he this is only his second managerial job and his first ever Premier League job. So, um, and let's see where we end up at the end of the season. But I do think it's been um an okay season so far. I say maybe a 6 out of 10 so far if I was to rank it. Um, if you were still in the Carabao Cup final and still in the FA Cup, then I'd probably say I'd give it an eight
Oh,
straight
you
away. I
give it,
think
yeah, easy. Yeah.
easy,
Uh,
but I just think fans at the same time. I think we need to unite as fans to not let Maresca go at the moment because, like I said, it's just going to be the same issues with another manager in where
mm,
he won't want players like, for example, Felix at the moment, and then let them go on loan. Like, for example, we might sign. Let's just say, for example, like we might sign Usman Dembele in the summer. Say if we had like a different manager in, like Hansi Flick, for example, and
yeah, you might not want
but
him.
if he doesn't fancy Dembele, then that's it. He's going to go on loan, isn't he? And I think a
Mm,
similar thing will happen where we keep buying players for to try to suit the style of play that we're trying to do, but then the manager doesn't get on board with it. Then yeah, you're going to get instances like where Felix wants to go, Disassi wants to go. Then we'll struggle to offload these players.
mm.
And but one thing as well, one thing I like to say as well is, um, I think we're, I think we're massively missing Mudryk, man. I can't even lie. And I
Do you
never
think?
thought I'd be saying this, man. Yeah, I think we are personally. Obviously, I'm not saying he set the world alight. He won't obviously bang in like a goal every game, but I think having that presence and that directness of a player in him, I think would
Mm,
have made a difference to maybe some of our results this season, or
yeah,
so shall I say, the second half of the season. Um, and obviously we're winger lighter now, so and obviously we've really got Neto, Sancho, and Madueke. So having that sort of fourth option's kind of derailed us a little bit, where we're sort of forced to continuously pick the same wingers.
mm,
And I think he's going to be missing the Conference League as well, especially. So
yeah. It's a good
yeah,
point.
a lot of people don't want to admit it, but I do think we miss Mudryk a bit.
I think we do, but I don't. I still. I mean, for me, like I like Modric. I thought he was good. I just don't think he was. I don't think he's ever shown enough quality to have a consistent role in our team, and I think that's a problem. But I do think fans, and I'm probably one of them at times as well, can be overreactive about things. And I've never ever said, and I will never say at the moment that I want Maresca to be sacked because I don't. I agree with you. I don't think bringing in another manager is going to solve this. I actually think the issues that we have currently sit above the manager at the moment. Like you said, I think the fact we've got two sporting directors and we still can't get things right is alarming. I think we should have one. And I think if this doesn't work this season, if we do miss out on what, let me start that again. I think the fans' objectives and the manager club's that objectives are completely different. I think our
Yeah,
objectives is top four trophies. I think that the board and the owners literally just want to get into the Champions League this season. That's all. That is literally the aim. That is it. I
yeah,
don't think they.
yeah.
And I think even the recruitment, we're screaming out we want quality of players and all the rest of it. I think from a owner's perspective, the sporting directors are actually doing a really good job. They want to bring in young players. They want to be able to sell those players on for profit, which they're currently doing at the moment. And that's all their jobs are to do. Their jobs, their mandate isn't to go and sign Victor Osimhen or Victor Gyökeres or Benjamin Sesko. That isn't their objective at the moment. Their objective is to bring in 18, 19, 17, 16 year olds, get them into the team, loan them out somewhere,
Mm,
and in 18 months, even 12 months, we sell them on for profit. And that's clearly what they've been told to do, and that's what they're doing. So I think from an owner's perspective, they're actually doing, they're probably getting 10 out of 10s on their homework from Bowley and Co. because that's clearly what they want. But I think from a fan's
mm,
perspective, we can, and the manager as well. I bet Maresca's thinking this. We need a squad for now as well. We need a squad to challenge and compete. If we get into the Champions League, could you honestly say, Mudryk, Neto, um, Lavia, Wesley Fofana, the goalkeepers, are they honestly going to get us through that into the latter stage of the Champions League in the format that it's in now? I
maybe a
wouldn't
couple of
be
players.
confident
I think maybe a couple of players, but like players
mm,
like maybe Neto and Fafana, I think would help with obviously squad rotation as well.
against Mbappe
Against
and
some of
and
the
and the likes of
yeah,
that.
I mean, of course, like
Do
if
you
you're
know what I mean?
comparing it to like someone like Mbappe or Vidi and stuff like that, then obviously they're miles clear of them two. But
I,
um,
would, I wouldn't want to see Reece James
maybe
up
Neto.
against an Mbappe or a Rodrigo or
Yeah,
yeah, I
but
just
in
wouldn't want to
terms
see
of
it.
like pace, I think maybe it'd be a bit more challenging. But I think in natural defending, I think Reese can.
Mm.
I think he's proved that he can handle it on
Oh,
the
I
big
don't I
stage.
don't doubt his abilities. It's whether he can keep himself fit enough, and
Keep
that's the
it,
worry
yeah,
we've got. That's why I named out like Lavia, Fofana,
yeah,
those sort of players. They're just never fully fit enough. And if you're going into a Champions League squad season with that squad, you've like you just said, you've got to have the quality and the depth. And we currently thought we had that, but we clearly don't because now we're talking about who's playing number nine for us, on
yeah.
Friday. So it's tricky, but I do think fans are overreacting, and I think their anger is at the wrong person. I think it's at Maresco when it should really be at the sporting directors. I think they're getting off from a fan's perspective. I think they're getting off scot free with a lot of things that even
Mm.
now you're seeing they've all the briefs are coming out now that Sesko and Liam Delap are back on the radar and all that nonsense. And I just think, well, we've turned into that football club that is just constantly linked FC. We used to be a club where
Oh,
we would just
I hate to say it, but it's kind of like Arsenal, man, where
yeah,
this
no, we
linked
are.
with
We I was just
ever.
about to say we're a hybrid of United and Arsenal at the moment. We used to be a club that would just literally, if we want someone, we go and get them, and that was it. There was none of this linked stuff. It was just, yeah, we want you. You want to come to us? Yeah, okay, cool. Agreement signed, transfer fee done, holding a shirt at Cobham. That was it. Whereas now we're
Mm.
linked for months and months and months with players. I
Done
think we just
fuck all
got
basically. So
exactly, and I think we've just got to get to the idea that things have changed now. We had luxury under Roman. We've now got a little less luxury under this ownership. I think is how I would put it. But it's
and I think we're just going through a cycle as well, man, where we're going through a rough patch now for the past what sort of 4 or 5 years, where we've become a different football club now as to what
yeah,
we used to, and Yeah, even if we don't make Champions League this football this season, I think it's all on the sporting directors for me.
Yeah. Would you
Partially
keep
on Maresca.
Maresca?
What if we don't make Champions League? Um,
I
I
would.
would, yeah.
Yeah, I would.
I'd give him the season.
I would.
Um, I would give him the season because I think he's been hung up to dry this January as well.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, the sporting directors have done nothing this January apart from mess up a
Recall,
few
recall Trevor Chalobah.
yeah, that's it. That's all they've really done, and signed a 16-year-old or 18-year-old
Yeah.
person from Kazakhstan, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all they really did. And then we
Yeah.
signed that Amugu from Strasbourg,
Amagu, yeah.
Amugu, yeah, as well. But yeah, it's just been the shambles of a January window, and if we don't make Champions League, then my finger will be towards the sporting directors because they're the reason why we're in this
Mm.
mess at the moment, and why we're sort of doubting them as fans, and why they're why they're sort of turning the fan base toxic,
Against
really.
each other. Yeah. I feel like they've weakened the squad as well. You mentioned that earlier on that,
Yeah, yeah,
the conference league squad, you think about it, Mudryk would have been part of that. I know that's a separate, it's a sort of a separate issue because of the B sample, but you look at Renato Vega, he
I
would have been
forgot you left
clearly,
us. Wow. Yeah,
yeah, he was, remember, if you remember, he played a lot more games than I think Cucurella did. And
yeah,
also, the good thing with Vega, although it still throws my head that he wants to play centre back, and we've never actually tried him at centre back, but he played in midfield for us a lot. He played in midfield. He was good for us, and it worked in those Conference League games where you could rest maybe Caicedo or Enzo. Um, Casaday's gone. Casaday was playing in those games as well,
yeah.
so he's now gone. I feel like there was someone else that's left in the January window that was playing in that Conference League, but I can't remember who that is.
Uh, Someone else who's left.
I might have made that up. Maybe it's just those two.
No, no, you're right. I swear there is someone else.
I feel like there was someone else that was in
Disassi.
Tasasi. That was it.
Yeah,
Tasasi.
Disassi.
So
Yeah,
I mean, I get it, but at the same time, you kind of need to start resting. Like you said, you need that rotation of players.
he was
Um,
captain as well for our
he was
Conference League games,
captain.
wasn't he? Oh, Disassi. Yeah,
He was. So I feel like we've weakened the squad. He's made Maresca's job 10 times harder now. Just doesn't
no,
make
he
any
has.
sense.
He's made it 10 times harder. And obviously, if we
Mm,
get to the latter stages, obviously games have become on paper more difficult. But
yeah.
if we're still pursuing this Champions League run, then we need to have our fully fit players ready because now we've got Palmer in the Conference League squad now due to obviously not having Felix now, and that's obviously the biggest one where I still can't understand why we let him go despite paying
Mm.
40 mil for him in the summer. That's just baffling to me.
And this is why the
I can't.
sporting
I really
directors
can't
have to be
understand
sacked.
it. And I can't analyze it. Just like I just don't know what
Mm.
they're thinking. Really, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, if we do miss out on Champions League, this is like you said as well. This is more on the sporting directors for allowing all these things to happen, and almost taking the tools away from Maresca to be able to do what he needs to do this season. So it is all on him. But let's keep the theme on injuries because we got the news today. Although I did hear this last night, I think it came out last night, didn't it? That Nicholas Jackson will be out until April
Mm.
at the earliest. At the earliest, April. Now, tough because we've still got Mark Gu, who's still out, muscular injury. Romeo Lavia, also muscular injury. Wesley Fofana with a hamstring, Badia Shield hamstring as well. We know that Reece James is fit enough to start tomorrow night's game. I think Fofana's back in light training now. I think he's joined back into the training. But let's just start with Nicholas Jackson because that's the big one. That's the one that we kind of were more worried about, weren't we, when we saw that injury after the West Ham game? But is that a massive blow for us? I mean, no clear number 9 in the squad now. Wasn't performing well, but still provided an outlet for us in the squad.
Yeah, yeah. I think over this run now, I think we're gonna. I think us as fans will definitely miss Jackson now. I reckon. Yeah, I think you only know what you've got until you've forgotten, right?
True, true.
That's what. And I've got a feeling we're gonna miss him quite a bit actually. Just even the link up play and some of the play and the hold up play he does in the middle
Mm.
by twisting away from centre backs and midfielders. I think we're gonna miss that massively. And even some just a presence, a focal point up top. Um, yeah, it's a big blow, and obviously this all goes back to the sporting directors where we haven't addressed.
Yeah.
um, signing competition for Jackson. So
Mm. Yeah, it is tough.
yeah,
It's
am I still
tough.
there? Oh, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
you're
yeah,
still here.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. Yeah, I was saying as well. Just yeah, we need to sign more competition for this guy, man, because you see really good moments from him, but then you see really, really bad moments where you know that he's comfortable within the team, like you know he's going to start every week ahead of Giyu. And obviously, the Giyu injury is not ideal at the moment. It's come at a bad time for him because had he been fit, he would have got this run of games, and then we would have seen
yeah.
the true Mark Giyu if he really is the answer for us. Um, but yeah, we're totally screwed now. We got no strikers basically. We've got that Azerbaijan, Kazakhstani player. We've got David Washington as well, Datra Fafana. Um, and yeah, yeah, either one of them will probably get a chance to play, I reckon. But
Fafana's
um,
out. I think he's out for the
oh yeah,
season as
he's
well.
injured, isn't he? Datra Fafana's
Yeah, yeah.
injured. Yeah, I forgot about that. So yeah, it looks like it's gonna be David Washington, but we all know it's gonna be Nkunku, isn't it?
Mm,
That's gonna be the solution, which is a shame because I still think he's a good player, but it's clear that he doesn't suit this number nine role. We saw against Brighton how deep he was getting the ball.
yeah.
And you saw how uncomfortable he was playing in number nine. So, yeah, we are going to miss Jackson. I think hopefully he's back for at least like the last few weeks of the season, where
Mm,
the business end will come. We play Liverpool, we play United, Forest, Newcastle, all in that all in that space of May. So,
yeah,
he'll be back for that at least, hopefully, where he can secure us Champions League football.
yeah. It's I agree with what you said. I think with Nicholas Jackson, it's difficult because I think he's not like your modern day, or yeah, you like your modern day striker. He's more of like a, I don't know what he is, but I think he holds the ball up really well, and I like that about him. He can get the ball halfway line, hold the ball up really well. He helps in that phase of the play, but I just think in front of goal, he's still very raw. But we always have to remember he's still very young as well, and I think we talk about him like he's had 4 or 5 years in the Premier League. It's a difficult league to come into. I don't think he even played that much when he was at Villarreal. I think he only had like half a season when we signed him. I don't think he was playing the full season there. So
No, he
he's
didn't.
still
No, no.
he's still very young. So he's going to be a big loss. I think it's a shame that Mark Gu got injured in the same game, because I agree with you, and I think if we were able to see him, because there's signs of him that I like. I still think again, 18 years or 19 is very very raw. But we needed to cover that area. We've all, as Chelsea fans, we've all been screaming about it for so long, that we needed to bring in another number nine competition for Jackson. Um, it's worrying because a lot of these injuries are very similar, and you have to wonder: is it training? Is it something that they're doing on the training ground or wherever that's causing these injuries? My concerns now is obviously we're coming into this busy part of the season, and we need to keep these players fit. We need to keep Cole Palmer fit. We need to keep Cucurella fit. We have to keep the two of Enzo and Caicedo, who clearly going to be playing a lot of football from now until the end of the season. Just because we can't really rely on Lavia, who's always injured as well. Um, yeah, it's just tough. It's a tough one, and it goes back to the sporting directors, because they should have had someone lined up, not even for the January window, but for the season, the window before in the summer. There was players.
We
Sesko
shouldn't
was there.
record. Yeah, Sesko was there to get. I mean, we shouldn't record Ugo Chuku or at least
Yeah,
Santos. At least one of them
yeah,
two.
yeah,
That's what should have happened in January. Then you go and address the midfield situation properly in the
yeah.
summer, where you buy someone who's reliable, who's fit, who fits the system as well.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, it's time for Dewsbury Hall to rise, man. This is a chance
He's
now.
got, he's got to. He's got. We joke about it, but listen, if there's one player that has to prove why they're at this club, it's him. Because
Yeah,
look, I'll be honest, I don't think he's the quality that we need. I really don't think
no,
he's got the level, the quality. When I talk about those Champions League games, I can't even see him making the team sheet. Like he's not. He's just
no,
not that good. Um,
he's not. He's not.
but he's got to rise up. Like you said, he's got to show himself and be one of those players now that we can call on. And he's got to put in a shift. He's got to put in a 9 out of 10. We can't afford to be playing games and losing them. Like Friday, I don't think people realize how crucial Friday's game is. You're playing before everyone else kicks off.
Yeah.
If you lose that mentally,
Wh- Where
it's
can we drop
difficult.
to? I'm curious to see actually. I'll check, get the table up actually.
Yeah, yeah. Let
So
me try and get it
if
on
we
here.
lose, yeah. So I've got the table up here. So we're obviously on 43 points at the moment. If we lose, Forest beat Fulham. They go on 50 points, so we obviously stay on 43. So they go 7 points ahead of us. So by the end of the weekend, if results don't go our way, totally. So if we lose our games, and assuming City win, Newcastle win, Bournemouth win, we could go as low as seventh. That's a
Yeah,
real possibility.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
And
that's a real
with that,
possibility.
as well, it's a
The Villa
mentality
could
thing.
close it up. So yeah,
It's a mentality thing for us now. We haven't got certain players in that team that's going to get you over the line or they're going to win you the game. I mean, I'm not even going to say this. In fact, I am going to say this. Now, if we lose Cole Palmer to an injury, write the season
oh
off.
god, oh,
Just write the
oh you
season
jinxed
off.
it, man.
Just, I didn't want to say it, but I started saying it. So let me just finish it. But
oh,
if he
oh
picks up
no,
an injury, write the season off because it doesn't matter what we do. It doesn't matter who we're playing. It doesn't matter how many goals we score. Just write the season off because who
yeah,
else is going
forget
to
it.
score the goals?
Like, who else is going to create, man? Like, let alone who would
Exactly.
we even put in there? It
Exactly.
would have to be Nkunku in that position. Then we might have to stick like Tyreek George in there somewhere. But I just realized as well, bro. City play Newcastle. They play each other, so that's one positive, I guess. That either one of them or both of them is going to drop points this weekend. So,
It is, but at the same time as well, one drops, one gains a little bit, don't they? So if
yeah,
Newcastle
yeah, yeah,
win, they gain on us, and if City win,
they gain.
they gain a little bit of
So
advantage on
obviously
us
we
as
need a
well.
draw, man. So if it's a
Yeah,
draw, it's ideal for us.
we need
That
the
way,
draw.
yeah, we need a draw in that game. Then
We
I
need three
don't know who
points
else
first.
we play. Sorry.
We need 3 points first. We need our
Yeah, of
3 points
course. Yeah,
tomorrow.
3 points has to be essential. Just stamp our authority for Champions League because teams will probably look at us and be like, "Oh, they've got out the FA Cup," but then put in a good performance against Brighton tomorrow, then that's it. They're serious about making the Champions League. And let's just say if Fulham do beat Forest tomorrow, on Saturday, and say
Do
if
us
we
a
do
massive
win, then
favor.
we're a point off Forest, which is mad. Then we've dragged Forest right into this dogfight of Champions League places,
Are
where
Fulham at
third's up
home?
for grabs.
Are they at Craven Cottage?
Fulham at home. Fulham at home. Yeah.
It's doable. It's doable.
It's mad.
Quickly before we get
Crazy.
on to our preview. So we've got Brighton, obviously, as we know, tomorrow night. We've got Villa next Saturday. Tough game going to Villa Park on a Saturday. Really tough.
Really
Um,
difficult.
we've got, which I think is a free throw of the dice against Southampton. I can't believe I just
Yeah.
said that because we're probably going to lose now, but we've got a
Nah.
free throw of the dice.
Southampton are woeful, man. Like,
Hey, don't say it.
I'm
Stop, stop.
confident. I'll bet. Honestly, like, they're listen. We're not the best yet, but the Southampton, like,
Uh,
they're just next level, man. They're next level bad, man.
you know what's
Like,
going to
I can't
happen now, though?
stress that
I'm not saying a word, but you know what's going to happen.
nah. I'd refuse to believe it, man. Like, I'm comfortable for this game, man. Like, I don't need to worry or stress or anything about playing Southampton, bro. Like, genuinely.
Listen, I'm just saying, I'm just not saying a word. But we got Leicester after that. Leicester again, I feel like it's another winnable game. We should be able to
Yeah.
beat them. That's on the 9th of March.
See,
Then
that
we've
one I'll
got,
take a bit more seriously than Southampton because at least they're a bit better than Southampton.
but we're at the
But
bridge.
still,
We're at Stamford Bridge. So I think
yeah.
we should, I'm more concerned about the Southampton game for some weird reason. Then we've got the
Wow.
international break after that, I think, haven't we? Um,
Is it not Arsenal then the international break or
oh, yeah. Sorry, we got Arsenal.
yeah?
Yeah, and then we've got the international break. We've got Tottenham after that. Then
Wow.
Brentford, Ipswich. I mean, tough, innit? Like crazy. Ipswich, Fulham, last game of the season, I think. Oh no, it's not.
Nah,
Everton,
still
sorry.
got a few
Our
more.
last game of
Yeah,
the season is a tough one. I'm sure it's Forest, isn't it? Yeah, it's
if you look
Forest.
at our
Sorry,
run at the end of the season, man, it's actually mad. Like when
our
you look
run's
at it,
crazy. That
up
is a
until I
crazy
think,
run.
what's before the Liverpool game? Is that
Everton,
yeah? I'll probably say from yeah, I'll probably say from
all
the
of them,
Ipswich game. That's when
all of them
well
games
after the
from.
international break, really. So
I would say our last easy game is Leicester.
maybe Ipswich as well, bro. I think Ipswich.
They beat us
I
2
mean, they
0
did beat us. They did beat us. Yeah, they did beat us.
I'm
But
just saying.
I expect us at home to get through that. To be honest with you, and who knows? They might
Don't know,
be.
you know. I don't know,
Yeah, yeah.
but
I'd say from after
Fulham's,
the international, I think, yeah, I think that's when it gets, yeah, really tough
yeah,
for us.
it's tough. It is tough. It is tough. But take us through your predicted lineup. Got it here for us on screen. So
Yeah,
you've gone for. I think this
I've
is
gone for
right. So if,
yeah.
yep,
Just making sure, yeah, yeah. So I've gone for Jorgensen and goal. I'm glad Maresca actually confirmed that Robert Sanchez is dropped for number one. I think that's the best news
yes,
I've heard. Best news I've heard for a long time, really. So, yeah, I think he deserves it as well. Jorgensen's had a couple of good games for us, and yeah, he rightfully so should be our number one, and Sanchez should be holding the bench at the moment. Yeah, that speaks for itself. Then, yeah, left back speaks for itself. Cucurella at left back still performs pretty well. I thought he was okay against Brighton, not his best, but not his worst either. Um, then I've gone Chalobah and Colwill, I believe, as well. I'll maybe bring Colwill back. I think I'm glad he didn't start the cup game
yeah,
because I think the performance against West Ham I don't think was the best either, and obviously cost us the goal. So I think he was rightfully benched, but I bring him back into the starting 11. Um, a shame on Tosin there because I think Tosin is a good player. I do like him. He's had some good games for us this season. And I think the aerial threat Brighton pose as well, I think would help with him in the team as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do start Tosin as well. Then yeah, Chalobah speaks for itself. Then yeah, I'd give Josh Akipom a go at
Big
right back, man.
Josh. That was a
Yeah,
surprise to see his name. But what's your
yeah,
thoughts on him? Because obviously we know that Reece James is now fit. Gusto is obviously there as well. Josh Pong hasn't played for a while. So what was your thought process just
yeah,
for the listeners behind that one?
yeah. I mean, like, obviously when I made this team, it was before I found out sort of Reese was
Yeah, yeah, of course, yeah.
ready to play. Um, So that's why I kind of would change it to maybe have sticking Reese in there. But
Mm,
let's just say Reese wasn't fit and it was just between Gusto and him. I give Josh a go because I think he hasn't played a game for us in a while, and I think when he has played, he's looked composed at times as well. His
mm.
passing's been good. I think he would do well at right back, and um, throwing him in the deep end might do him some good. To be fair, I think a lot of people might disagree with that, but I think that's where you bring out a true leader and a
Yeah,
true.
you thrive a bit under a bit more pressure.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I initially went with Josh, but I probably would change that to Reece James at the moment, um, just based on him being fit now, and I think having him in the team is so crucial.
I agree. Although
Yeah,
I agree, but
midfield.
I agree and disagree. You'll find out why in a minute. But going into midfield, you're going for Enzo Caicedo.
Yeah, that speaks for itself as well, man. They're the only two sort of competent and fit midfielders we got. Shout out to Caicedo as well. I thought he played really well in the Brighton game last week. I think he held everything together for us, and God forbid he gets injured, man. Just touch wood, man. Touching every wood possible, man. That he doesn't get injured, man. Honestly, because I think if we lose him, then I truly think our season's over, man. Like,
100%.
yeah, we'll be screwed without him. But yeah, Enzo Caicedo speaks for himself, and then yeah, onto the sort of the front four, man. I can't see who have I gone for the front four again. Is it
You've gone for Sancho. Sorry, let me see if I can get it a bit bigger. Gone for Sancho, Palmer,
oh,
Madweki, and Neto.
yeah. So reason why I've gone for Noni on the right is um just I think just we were lacking that sort of directness against Brighton last week, and I think had we had someone like Noni in the pitch for a bit longer and starting from the game, I think he would have posed a bit more threat
Yeah.
in that position, personally. Against Lamptey as well, I think he would have given Lamptey a game for most of the game. So that's why I'd stick with Noni, try something different. Then Palmer speaks for itself. You're going to start Palmer. Um, then left, I stick Neto as well, just so that it's sort of on his natural side as well, where he can cross a bit more into the box.
So where would you have Neto in this? Where
I'd have Neto on the left. I'd have Neto on the left, and I
and
have yeah
who would be
Sancho
playing
up
this
top.
year? You'd have Sancho.
Yeah, I'd have Sancho up front. I'd have
Okay,
Sancho up front.
that's interesting.
Yeah, so that's the team I'd go. That's what I'd go for. I'd go for net on the left, and then I'd try Sancho in sort of a striker slash false nine role with
Mm,
um with Palmer maybe dropping a bit deeper.
yeah, yeah.
Um, I think just because I've seen Sancho play there a couple of times to Man United. I think he has the attributes to play as a false nine. Fair enough in front of goal, he's not obviously not the best. He doesn't shoot enough for me, But I think in terms of linking play with Palmer and the wingers around us, I think he'll do a good enough job for us in that position. Whilst obviously Jackson's not fit, Gu's not fit, and I don't think Nkunku would be fit. And if I was to play Nkunku, I'd play him instead of Palmer. Really, I wouldn't put him in the striker position, but I'm not gonna drop Palmer for Nkunku. So that's why I've gone for Sancho up front. But just offers us something different and maybe something different for Maresca to think about and opposition centre backs to think about because um, they'll be more sort of drawn towards him. I think that create a lot of
Mm.
space for our wingers as well, with him
Yeah.
sort of dropping a bit deeper and linking play, which I think he's good at, and he's good at keeping the ball. So yeah, that's why I'd go a bit different with Stick Sancho in the false nine.
I'm not against it at all. I think it goes back to what we said at the very start of this is that, Maresca has to change something and give something for the opposition to think about. And if you go with that sort of usual team that we're going to potentially play tomorrow night, I think Brighton, who played us not even a week ago, less than a week ago, they'll have our number straight away. So um I've gone for something slightly different. So let me get your views on this. Let me try and zoom in a little bit so we can see this. So I'm going to die on this hill of a back five, three centre backs, because I'm convinced we have to start something different in this team. And I've gone for something very different because one, I like it to be different, and two, I just think we need another option. I really do. I don't trust two centre backs. I done a video yesterday or the day before, I think, where I was speaking about, if you remember, I think it was Arsenal, and when Conte was our manager, I think we were losing against Arsenal, and then we swapped it in that game. If you remember, we went to the three. I think it was Victor Moses and Marcus Alonso that were mainly the wing backs in that team. I want to see Josh Ashimpong given a role in this team. I'd probably start him ahead of Malagusto if it was a full back or a wing back. I think he's probably stepped up for me. He's been a lot more confident in the games. Cocorrea played that role at Brighton, so he's not like he's alien to it. He knows how to play as a wing back. We know that he likes to drive forward with the ball. I think the three centre backs, and I've put Reece James as one of them because I think Reece James, we need him in the team, but I don't think he's got I don't think he's got the legs anymore after his injury to be able to run up and down that wing as much as he used to do a couple of seasons ago. So I think have him in the team, right centre back, give a bit more confidence to Chalobah and Colwell, give some protection to Josh Ashiempong as well on that right side. The two are very similar, Enzo Caicedo in the middle. The three that I've gone for at the front is Neto, who I know Maresca said on many, many occasions he likes him to be playing on the right hand side of his attack,
Mm.
but he's played for Wolves on the left. I think he came on as a sub after that press conference that Maresca gave him. Maresca subbed him on and played him on the left. So we know he can play on the left. Palmer, as I said in this pod earlier on, I want to see him on that right hand side. And then Kunku for me would have to be the false nine, only because I don't think he can play nine. I think these three here, if we're being honest, could all swap over and change at any point in the game. And I think that's a defender's nightmare. Who do you pick up? Who do you mark?
Yeah,
Who's your man? Who's your man? We don't know because we're swapping around. And I think you
I
can
actually like that team.
interchange.
Yeah. I actually do like that team too. I think maybe the only thing, if I was to change it, I think
Mm,
maybe I'd stick Cucurella at left centre back, and maybe
yeah,
I might even be inclined to put someone like Neto at left wing back. Because I
yeah,
think he would
yeah.
suit that role. I
I
think he'd
agree.
suit that role quite well. And
I
then
agree.
and then maybe I don't know if Josh can play that right wing back role though. Maybe I stick Gusto there at right wing back, possibly. That's maybe the only two positions I'd maybe change. Otherwise, the three.
Yeah,
Um, I think the front three is pretty. I'd agree with two fair. Maybe stick Neto instead of Col. So I've obviously not swapped Neto and Colwell, but swap Cucurella, put Cucurella's in Colwell's position, put
yeah,
Neto left
yeah.
wing back. Then maybe give Madueke a shot there, or maybe put Sancho
Yeah.
there as an inside forward.
I just think we've got to change something. This will never happen, by the way. This is just
Yeah, of
me
course, yeah,
thinking out loud. But Maresca's stubborn. He's going to stick with the 4-2-3-1. We know that. But I just think we have to try something different. We really do, because if we don't, our season will be over very, very quickly. We might not even get to the Conference League final if we carry on playing the way we're playing with no plan
yeah.
B. You never know. So I've gone for that. Um, What's your score prediction? What do you think we will do in terms of our score line?
Um,
After back of Saturday, keep that fresh in your mind as well.
yeah, I mean, see, it's annoying because I want to predict us to win. I do think we'll win. I'm expecting some sort of reaction from the players. Obviously, going out to the same team last week. I expect us to bounce back. Um, Maybe the occasion might get to us playing on a Friday night and all that before everyone else.
Yeah.
Pressure's probably on for us to sort of win. No doubt it's gonna be a tough game, but Brighton always give us a good game. To be fair, I think it'll be high scoring. I think we'll win 3-2. I think we'll win.
Ooh, it's good. It's good.
Yeah,
That sounds like it's going to be a good game tomorrow if that's the score. But I don't know, man. I can't. I'll take a 2-2 at this point. I don't think we're going to win. I'd love to say we can win if we play the lineup, we play something different and give our attacking options something. And we overload Brighton's, the defensive line. We if we can overload them and create the chances, I think we win. But if Maresca's going to play this 4-2-3-1, it'll be more passing sideways, more back to the goalkeeper, back to the centre backs. A mistake will happen. So I'm gonna
yeah,
go. I'm gonna go 2-2. I think it'll be a 2-2 draw, which I don't think will be good enough for us, if I'm being honest. But it's better than a defeat, isn't it? At the end of the day.
yeah. No, definitely. Then, especially with what we got coming up as well, we've obviously got Villa next week as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have to win. As simple as that. Just bring some confidence back in the team. Really get the winning mentality back, and yeah, that's it. Go back to basics, man.
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. Darmesh, always a pleasure. Always a pleasure on the pod.
No, big up, man. No,
150.
appreciate it very much, man.
150 episodes. We're creeping up, man. We're creeping up slowly. Yeah, we're done. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you enjoy the Linktree link and go and enjoy the social accounts over there. Let's hope we get 3 points tomorrow, because if we don't, it's going to be a long weekend. It's nothing worse than you play on a Friday and you got to watch everyone else's team win over the weekend. So let's hope we get the 3 points. We'll be back next week. Don't forget to subscribe, comments below, all of that good stuff. We'll be back soon. Enjoy your weekend.